Hey, it's Professor Shoemaker again, and now we're going to look at video 3.1, where we concentrate on the where clause. I have loaded up the file video 3.1 where.sql. That's already in my window here. That's available for you, and you can follow along with it. So, in the past, what we've done is select statements like this one right here, where we selected some columns out of a table. So we pick first, last, date of birth, and so on from student. We've left out major ID, looks like, and enrolled date. So we just picked, 5 or 6 of the columns out of the 8 or so columns that are in the table. So if we just run the SQL like this, we'll get every record in the database. As a matter of fact, there's 100 students, so we would get 100 records. And let's just prove that. I'm going to copy this SQL and open up a new SQL pane and paste that in and just run it. And if I show the output window down here, it will show that there were 100 rows returned from the database. It's hard to see it here. Let me make this a little higher on the screen. 100 rows were returned from students. So let's clear this. Now, we may not want all the rows. We may want just some of them. And that's where the where clause comes in. The where clause allows you to filter rows and exclude them from it. So here we're just selecting where scholarship is greater than 3,000. We want a list of the students whose scholarship is greater than 3,000. Now this file has a bunch of other select statements in it, but I want to execute just this one. So I'm going to put my cursor inside of it, and then there's this button up here, execute the statement under the keyboard cursor. It'll execute just this one statement. So let's run it. Now we got 41 rows. So this showed us out of the 100, 41 people have a scholarship greater than 3,000, greater than or equal to 3,000. What if we made this 4,000 and just ran this SQL again by itself? Now how many rows did we get back? Now we got only 22 rows back of people who are getting a scholarship of at least 4,000. So we filtered rows out and we selected just some of them. That's sort of logically the same as using just these names, where we filtered out the enrolled date and major by using just these names here. So by picking names we can filter the columns, and by using a where clause we can filter the rows. In this case, we filtered on a field that holds a numeric value, and we use the usual operators like greater than, less than, equal to, and so on are a part of it. If I set this to equal to 0 and run it, now I get everyone who doesn't have a scholarship. And how many rows did we get here? We had 20 rows of people who don't have a scholarship. So this is a flexible statement that allows you to compare a number and filter rows out. That's 3.1. Let's go look at the next one, which is a filter on women only. Here we're going to filter on the sex field, and we're going to filter only for the value female. This field is a text field. It's a character field. So because I'm giving it a character value here, I have to put it in single quotes. Let's go ahead and run just this one. So now we get only people who are female. And how many rows did we get? We got 50 rows. So half of our records are female and half are male in the database. So what's important about this one is that since it was a character field, we had to surround the value in single quotes. So we've done numbers, we've done characters. Let's go do dates. Filter on date, everyone born before 1990. Now dates are a little quirky in MySQL. You have to put them in quotes as if they were a character string, and it really is picky about what goes inside here. I always use the 4-digit year dash the month dash the date. So we're saying date of birth less than 1990 January 101. So that will filter everyone older than that was born before 1990. Let's go run this one. And there we go. As you can see, everyone in here was born before 1990. Let's go look at everybody after 1990. Now, in case somebody happened to be born on January 1st of 1990, I'm going to say greater than or equal to, so I would pick up someone who happened to be born right on New Year's Day. So let's run this one SQL statement. Now we get everyone born on or after 1990. So these are the younger students in the table. So far we filtered on a number, on a character, and on a date. The other thing we can do is filter on major, major, that is fields that don't have a value. So I added major ID here. First, I'm going to run this without filtering on major. So I'm going to take this where clause and make it a comment for a moment so that it doesn't execute. So I'll put 2 dashes here followed by a space. This makes it a light gray and turns it into a comment. Now let's go run this statement here, and it will list off all students. What I really want to see is the major ID field here. And you can see that some of the values are null. Now, the ones that have numbers in them are students who have declared a major. Now, what's important to understand about the null value is it's not a value. It's the absence of a value. So it's not like 0. That could be some major ID. As it turns out, our major IDs start with 1. But the null means there is no value in the field. So the way you write a statement to filter on null is you don't use an equal sign. You say where major ID is null. And let's run this statement now, and everyone we get back will have a null value in it. We've eliminated the people who have chosen majors, and now are only looking at the people who have not declared a major yet. So we can filter on null, students without a major. So these 4 ways of filtering on null allow you to, filtering on null on characters and numbers, allow you to filter on just about any kind of data type. By the way, if I want to know everyone whose major ID is number 1, since that's a number, I can just say equals 1 and run it, and I will get everybody who's in major number 1. So what we've looked at is how to filter the rows out with the where clause that is the second or third of the big keywords that we're going to use in select statements. First was select and then from. Now we've added where.